Good morning, everyone. This is John Snow speaking for Centerity, and we're going to wait for another couple minutes for a few more attendees to arrive. I see that the list of attendees is already filling up, which is good. But we'll give people just another couple minutes to join for our 11 o'clock webinar. All right, as I see the attendees filling up here, why don't we get started? Again, this is John Snow. First of all, good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking time out of your Thursday here in the middle of the summer. For those of you who are north of the equator, this is John Snow. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Alliances for Centerity Systems, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, which is titled Keeping Critical Business Services in the Fast Lane. We'll be focusing today on really two things. So as background, Centerity's BSM platform, that stands for Business Service Management. Our BSM platform really helps companies optimize the critical business services that are running their company. And we do that as a means to help them deliver higher SLAs and, putting it simply, more uptime. But managing business services really depends on evaluating metrics that cross the entire stack of technology. And Centerity's Traffic Analyzer product, which we're introducing today, provides key data for understanding the performance issues that may be affecting business services and may be affecting companies' output. So in today's presentation, you'll be hearing from Tony Kenny, who will be presenting about how Centerity quickly remediates traffic jams and choke points that impact your business performance, how the combination of Centerity's BSM and Traffic Analyzer really acts as an early warning system to reduce any SLA risks and to minimize the impact on your critical business services, and finally, how Centerity ensures that IT and business managers are always seeing performance analytics in a context that they understand, so that each side can take the appropriate actions based on their business needs. So with that, I welcome you to our webinar, and I'd like to introduce Tony Kenny, our Senior Systems Engineer.
Hello and welcome to the webinar. Again, my name is Tony Kenny. I'm the Senior Systems Engineer for Centerity Systems. And today we're going to walk through the Centerity Traffic Analyzer. The Centerity Traffic Analyzer is a purpose-built software appliance that allows end users to capture and analyze the NetFlow data streams out of things like switches or routers or pretty much anything that can generate the NetFlow traffic. Oops. We're going to be doing a live demo today of the Centerity solution, but we need to start with a little groundwork so that you understand what you're looking at. The Centerity monitored system allows end users to create business services that encapsulate all objects in the IT environment, and these objects may be storage or server-based or network-based or application-based. And what that allows them to do is to create a service level or create a way of monitoring an application holistically, so from the bottom up. So we're going to take a quick look at a particular business service just so that you understand what you're seeing. And then you can see that it has multiple levels in here, and this is something that may happen or may be available in any data center in the world today. The inclusion of the traffic analyzer data will allow us to not only see the physical metrics or work with errors and things on the physical devices, but also carry the network traffic all the way back into the BSN and be able to display how that network traffic may impact the business service. So we're just going to go ahead and take a quick look at a hypermap of a particular business service. And as you can see, this particular business service is made up of many parts. It's got the application on top, and then it's got the individual pieces, including the hardware, the security, and the network on top of it. By the inclusion of the traffic analyzer data, it will give us one more way to bring something that can significantly impact an application and be able to bring it into a business sense. So when you think about the traffic analyzer, think of it as a way of judging bandwidth performance, flows over time, and also as a way to reduce the time to resolution by bringing bandwidth utilization into the applications and the service and the user. Now, in the geographically dispersed environment that you see in today's data centers, you may have objects that are residing in a data center or cross data center. You may have applications that you're using as a service, so software as a service. You may have point-to-point transfer protocols set up that you're using for replication or data center to data center replication. Or you may have objects up in the cloud that you need to monitor. All of the things that we just mentioned can impact the available network bandwidth significantly. And sometimes tracking that information down can be very difficult at best or impossible at worst. So what Centerity Traffic Analyzer allows you to do is to attach to those switches or routers or load balancers or firewalls and then pull the NetFlow, SFlow, JFlow data down into a place where it's very easy to look at and kind of a single pane of glass to get that information and start to make sense of it. And then be able to walk that data back into our normal business service management categories and be able to utilize the NetFlow data in a way to create or to impact the overall SLA. So if you were looking at the NetFlow data for, say, a particular BSM, like we just looked at, you would be able to very easily see how bandwidth utilization may have affected that particular application source. You can also use this information for optimizing your network planning, and then by comparing resources available to resources being utilized across all of the network devices, and then be able to break them down further by things like users, applications, or objects inside the network. So let's talk about it. When you look at the traffic dashboard, this dashboard is generated by a software appliance that is deployed into the environment and then connected to the Centerity Monitor program. And we can see things like senders, talkers, traffic categories, flows over a period of time, what protocols are being used, and then a visualization as to the traffic category. Now this screen has everything enabled on it, but the first thing you need to know is that this particular dashboard screen can be customized to an end user's likes and tastes, and also their vertical position inside the data center. So everybody may not need to see everything, but we can manipulate or customize this traffic dashboard so that the information displayed is information that is usable to the person having it. So whoever logs in here, this screen can be customized. So let's take a look at the senders. I'm looking at, right now, my top 10 senders, and then how much those data flows are over a percentage of all of the data flow. So I can very easily go in and manipulate these things so that I only see the top 5, the top 10, or the top 15. Again, customization that makes sense. I can also change the view from a pie to a bar or to a table, so I can get a tabular format to paste it. When I see a sender's data flow coming through here, and I want to query it, all of the buttons that you see are available to be drilled down on top of. So if I want to see a particular flow, I can click on it, and it will take me down one step lower. So I can see what that IP address is talking to, what traffic categories it's making use of, HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, UDP, the protocols it's using, and then the flows over a particular period of time. And as you can see, we can go very far back into the flows coming out of a particular IP address. And then we're able to graph those flows over time to see how much data that particular server or that particular object is making use of in the environment. So let's go back up to the traffic analyzer and talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do with it. If you're using it to optimize network planning, you may be looking at a significant amount of data and then spreading it out over a period of time so that you can really generate the flows over time chart. Now, it's very easy to connect the Centerity traffic analyzer into your environment because it comes as a pre-set up software appliance that you just deploy into the environment and then point it at the object that's creating the net flow data. So very simple for it to be deployed and then utilized. And know that the Centerity traffic analyzer can scale out to very large. Right now, if you are doing something underneath the 6,000 flows a second, then you can do it with a single Centerity traffic analyzer. But if you get bigger than that, it's very simple to scale out horizontally just by adding another traffic analyzer appliance into the mix, and then you will double, or triple, or quadruple the amount of available data flows that you're able to monitor, and then still have all of that data roll up to the primary screen where it can all be digested and made use of. So it's a scalable distributed architecture that really allows you flexibility as to how it's deployed. So let's go ahead and look at things like a particular traffic category. So if I was looking at a particular traffic category, say HTTP, when you think about things like BYOD or people surfing YouTube or things that they're at their desk, we are able to identify that type of information or that behavior on the network and then be able to extrapolate that information and give that back to the operations team so that they can make wise choices as to how that bandwidth is utilized. Very easily go in and find the particular flow, and I could drill down into that over a period of time. Recent active flows. We can go out and query against our database, and it will show all the flows over a period of time. And then we can do things like change the view from a pie view to a chart view to a tabular view that it's in right now, and then be able to click on those and be able to, say, filter out whether or not what protocols they can use. So. We can also set alerts for these things. When you look at the alerts page, these alerts can be set up through the management interface. And we'll just take a look at a particular alert, so that if a flow hits a particular point or goes to a particular country or to a particular address, we can set alerts for those, and then we can send out emails or SMS messages or things of that sort or of that nature, so that the operations team can alert on those things and then take action against it. So if we wanted to create an alert for these things, we will go into the administrator console here and then look at the settings for the traffic analyzer. And inside the settings for the traffic analyzer, you will find your alerts and notifications. Alerts and notifications are very simple to set up. So we are going to create a new alert. And for this alert, we have customers that work in sensitive environments or need to keep their information from going to particular places. So if I was a government agency and I wanted to keep my intellectual property from going to, say, North Korea, then I can very easily go in and say, I don't know, we'll use warning or error. View permissions, send notifications, what severity it is. So every time something goes here, I want it to be a critical alert. And I can do it by country. So from the United States or the destination of North Korea. So anything that's going from the United States to the DPRK, I can now create an alert, and any traffic that goes through there, whether that be TCP or UDP, will generate an alert, and I will get an indication of that. It may give you a way to tighten your security reporting so that you can react to things that happen on the network. So there, I have created that. And now, anytime I am sitting in the traffic analyzer and something goes to North Korea, I will know about it, and everybody will be alerted, and we can take appropriate action on it. So let's go ahead and look at the reporting structure on it. If I want to just do a summary report of all of the available flows over a period of time, then I can very easily go in and use the canned reports that come with the solution and click on a summary report, give it a time frame. I can do these reports by IP address or by port. If you were, say, looking for particular traffic over a port, it could be very beneficial to you. From a country to another country, a protocol or a traffic category, that sort of thing. We'll go ahead and generate the report. And this report was generated over a very short period of time. When you deploy the traffic analyzer into the environment, it will immediately start taking that net flow data and propagating the back end to it. So it's very easy once you deploy the software appliance into the environment and plug it into the Centerity monitor screen. Its time to value is very, very quick. It takes a matter of minutes or hours, perhaps, to generate enough data that you can actually track these things across. So we're looking at the summary report here from IP addresses to IP addresses, on ports, on protocols, what type of traffic it is, how long the flow was, and then the total traffic. We can search by a particular IP address or by top talkers, see who's using the majority of the bandwidth. We can do it by traffic categories or traffic sources, so from data center to data center, that sort of thing, and then be able to generate these things, and then be able to manipulate or to schedule these reports so that they happen on a periodic basis so that everybody is very well aware as to what's going on with it. So we're going to go ahead and look at the receivers over time. And of those receivers, we're going to be able to see who's feeding into a particular host at any one given time, how much data they're actually sending in. Talkers, traffic categories, and protocols. Again, these screens remain very constant or very consistent, but they can be customized, manipulated depending on what the end user wishes to see. So all this very in-depth reporting can be very beneficial if you're trying to chase down a bandwidth utilization problem or a issue where you have an application that is behaving slowly. That traffic analyzer data and carrying that back through the business service can be very important to that troubleshooting effort. All of the traffic dashboard that we talked about customizing can be done through the preference tool. So I can very easily go in and create a very customized dashboard by the sender, and then how I want it to display. So I can go in and create something that makes better sense to me in this environment. And you would just save that, and it would end up in a particular workspace. So we can change that workspace very easily by going and touching it. And that space will change because that's the way I like to see it. Right now we're looking at the last 5 minutes of data, but let's go and look at the last 2 hours of data. You can see that things like my flows over time changes, and I'm able to look for spikes in the flow activity, and then be able to extrapolate that information so that I can see what the flow was and how much data was actually pushed across there. And that would help me tremendously if I was chasing down a bandwidth utilization problem or looking for a way to instantly get that visibility into the usage. And then we can chart that over mean time. So it's just showing how many flows and then when that spike actually happened. And then who my top offenders are. So these are the folks that are talking the most in my environment, and I can do a top 5 or I can do the top 10 or the top 15. And I can see who is making use of that. And that may be a particular application, that may be a database sitting on the back end, or a highly transactional application that is eating that data up. Or perhaps it is my end users going out to my cloud application. If you see high utilization in there, you need to be able to bring that information back into the data center and then be able to carry that backwards into the business services so that you're getting a very holistic picture as to what my network is doing, where the traffic is going, how that traffic is impacting my overall application availability. And then if I make a change to it, what else will that propagate against? So if I make a bandwidth change or I increase traffic flow into a particular piece, how will that adjustment in my network behavior affect all of my applications, and that's done back through not only through the traffic analyzer, but carried back into the business services that we discussed earlier. I'm going to pause here because we've been taking questions on the chat, and I wanted to give anybody that is out there the opportunity to type in a question and get it answered. Question is, I am a managed service provider, and what kind of results can I deliver to my customers with Traffic Analyzer? Well, it's a very good question. If you are a MSP and you have Traffic Analyzer in place, you will be able to very easily see how much bandwidth a particular customer is making use of, or you can allow that or give that customer information on the available bandwidth, or how their data is, how their network information is moving throughout the organization. So what their utilization is, and then whether or not their service or their business service was impacted by a particular flow, well, not a flow, but a particular bandwidth utilization. And then when you think about it in a larger context of the business services, how that information may have affected not only them, but other users at your provider as well. You already have the Centerity platform. How can I add Traffic Analyzer to the platform? Very easily. So because the Traffic Analyzer plugs directly into the Centerity Monitor solution, it's very simple to go out and deploy a Traffic Analyzer appliance into the environment and just plug it into the existing environment and have it start showing up. Now, that to be said, the Centerity Traffic Analyzer is an add-on module to the Centerity Monitor solution. And if you have a want or a need for the Traffic Analyzer information, get hold of us at Centerity, and we're very happy to discuss how we can get that implemented into your environment. If you have pricing questions about the Centerity Traffic Analyzer, we suggest that you get hold of the Centerity sales department. They will be more than happy to discuss how the Traffic Analyzer is deployed into your environment and what the individual price may cost when in conjunction with the Centerity Monitor platform. Okay, we've kind of reached a lull in the questions right now. One last chance to offer up a question and have it answered. Terrific. So go ahead.
No, Tony, I was just hopping in to say thanks for the demo. You know, on behalf of Centerity, we're pretty excited. I would say that we're very excited about the Traffic Analyzer product and the way it integrates with our business service management. We think that it's going to give our customers capabilities that they won't find anywhere else. And so far, our beta customers have been reporting fantastic results. We'd love to have conversations with anyone on the phone regarding how it can be deployed at their location, and let them see for themselves the benefits that come from BSM with traffic analysis. Was there anything else that we failed to highlight, Tony, that you feel we need to make a note of at this point?
I don't believe so. I think we've covered all the high points.
Okay. So again, on behalf of Centerity, this is John Snow and Tony Kenny, and we want to thank you for spending some time with us here today, and we look forward to doing business with you in the future. That's it for the webinar. Thanks again.